The massive Crest warship hung in Earth's orbit like a dark cloud of impending doom. Its crystalline surface reflected sunlight in ways that made human scientists scratch their heads in wonder. Inside the United Nations Space Command Center, Admiral James Porter stared at the main screen, his jaw clenched tight. "Their ship is at least 3 miles long," reported Lieutenant Dan Miller, his eyes fixed on the readings. "Nothing like we've ever seen before." The Crest delegation had arrived without warning 7 days ago. Their first message was simple: "We come to evaluate your species." Since then, they'd done nothing but mock humanity's achievements. Today's meeting wasn't going any better. The Crest ambassador, a tall being with shimmering blue skin, stood in the conference room, pointing at holographic images of Earth's space fleet. "These vessels," the ambassador's translator buzzed, "are nothing more than primitive metal boxes. How do you even manage to leak your atmosphere in these toys?" Several other Crest officials made clicking sounds, their version of laughter. Admiral Porter took a deep breath. He was a veteran of many battles, but none had tested his patience like this. "We make do with what we have, Ambassador. Not all species advance at the same rate." The ambassador waved a long-fingered hand dismissively. "Your fastest ships would take years to reach even your nearest neighboring star. Your weapons are basic projectiles and chemical explosives. Even your communications rely on primitive radio waves." More clicking laughter filled the room. Porter noticed how his officers tensed up, their faces reddening with anger and shame. He gave them a subtle hand signal to stay calm. "Perhaps," Porter said carefully, "you could share some of your advanced technology with us. Help us improve." The ambassador's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Help you? Why would we waste resources on a species that might never achieve true spacefaring status? We've seen hundreds of worlds like yours. Most never make it past their moon." Through the conference room's windows, Porter could see more Crest ships arriving in orbit. Their fleet was growing daily. Something about their movements didn't feel right to his military instincts. "Then why come here at all?" asked Porter, trying to keep his voice neutral. "To catalog your world, of course. To determine if you're worth monitoring." The ambassador's translator couldn't hide the threatening undertone. As the meeting ended, Porter walked quickly to his private office. Once inside, he pressed his palm against a hidden scanner. A secure screen emerged from his desk, showing a direct link to Military Command Deep Base. "They bought it," Porter reported quietly. "They think we're completely defenseless." The face on the screen, General Laura Hayes, nodded grimly. "Good. Keep playing weak. Let them think their technology is centuries ahead of ours." "They're getting bolder," Porter warned. "More ships arriving every day." "Perfect. The more of their fleet they commit, the better. Maintain the deception, Admiral. Let them laugh at our primitive ships." As Porter ended the transmission, he allowed himself a small smile. The Crests had no idea what humanity was truly capable of. Soon, very soon, they would learn that appearances could be deceiving, and that lesson would cost them dearly. Deep within the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Mark Wells floated through the command deck of the Thunderchild. His ship was anything but primitive. Its outer hull looked like a normal cargo vessel, but beneath that disguise lay humanity's most advanced warship. "Status report," he ordered, settling into his command chair. "All systems nominal, Captain," replied First Officer Tom Bradley. "The cloaking field is maintaining our cargo ship appearance. The Crest's patrol ships passed by twice without noticing anything unusual." Wells nodded, studying the holographic display showing 50 similar ships hidden among the asteroids. Each vessel was a masterpiece of deception, looking worthless on the outside while housing technology that would make the Crests choke on their laughter. "Message from Earth Command," announced Communications Officer Rachel Wood. "The Crests are taking the bait. They've positioned 80% of their fleet in Earth orbit." Wells smiled. It had taken humanity decades to prepare for this moment. While openly developing primitive space technology, Earth's best scientists had secretly created weapons and defenses that could rival any alien civilization. "Show me the fleet positions," Wells ordered. The hologram shifted, displaying the Crest warships clustered around Earth like arrogant predators surrounding weak prey. Their overconfidence was exactly what humanity had hoped for. "They still think we're stuck with chemical rockets and basic ion engines," Bradley chuckled. "Wait until they see our quantum drives in action." Wells touched a panel on his chair, revealing the ship's true weapon systems. The Thunder Child carried antimatter torpedoes, gravity pulse cannons, and energy weapons that could slice through the strongest shields. Every system was hidden behind layers of sensor-fooling technology. "New message from Admiral Porter," Wood announced. "The Crests are demanding Earth surrender 20% of its resources as a protection fee." "Protection fee," Bradley snorted. "More like robbery." Wells stood up, walking to the main viewport. Among the asteroids, he could see the faint outlines of other hidden ships, each commanded by carefully chosen officers who'd trained for years in secret. "How long until they expect an answer?" Wells asked. 48 hours, Wood replied. "They're probably hoping we'll refuse. Give them an excuse to attack." "They'll attack either way," Wells said. "The only difference is timing." He turned to his crew. "This is what we've prepared for. The Crests think they're dealing with helpless primitives. Their arrogance will be their downfall." An alert flashed across the main screen. The Crests had just fired on the Mars colony, a warning shot that destroyed several outdated defense satellites. "It's starting," Wells announced. "Battle stations, but maintain stealth protocols. Let them think their show of force is working." As his crew moved to their positions, Wells felt a mix of anticipation and determination. The Crests had no idea they'd walked into an elaborate trap. Their supposedly superior sensors couldn't detect the real human fleet. Their overconfident tactics had left them vulnerable. "Send word to all ships," he ordered. "Operation Trojan Horse is now active. When the signal comes, we'll show these aliens what humanity is truly capable of." The primitive humans were about to teach the galaxy's bullies a lesson they'd never forget. The Crest ambassador stood in the UN Security Council chamber, his towering form casting a long shadow across the floor. The room was packed with world leaders, all watching as humanity's deadline approached. "Your time to consider our generous offer is running out," the ambassador's translator crackled. 20% of Earth's resources is a small price for our protection. The alternative would be unfortunate." Admiral Porter sat quietly, watching the huge display screen behind the ambassador. It showed the growing Crest fleet in orbit, now numbering over 300 ships. Their weapons were all pointed at Earth's major cities. "And if we refuse?" asked the UN Secretary General, her voice steady despite the threat. The ambassador's 4 eyes glowed with amusement. "Then we will take 50% instead. And we won't be gentle about it." He gestured to a smaller screen showing the smoking ruins of the Mars defense platforms. "That was just a sample of our power." Porter checked his hidden wrist display. The countdown showed 6 hours remaining. He needed to keep the Crests talking, keep them confident in their superiority. "Surely we can negotiate," Porter suggested, playing his role perfectly. "Perhaps if you gave us more time." "Time." The ambassador cut him off. "Time for what?" "To build more of your pathetic ships. To develop weapons that might actually scratch our hulls." More of that clicking laughter filled the chamber. "We've scanned every inch of your solar system. We know exactly what you're capable of, and what you're not." Porter thought about the real fleet hidden in the asteroid belt, about Captain Wells and the others waiting for the signal. The Crest's scans had seen exactly what humanity wanted them to see. "Then you leave us no choice," the Secretary General said. "We will need the full 48 hours to prepare our response." The ambassador made a gesture of dismissal. "Delay all you want. When the deadline comes, you will submit or burn. We have already begun calculating which of your cities to strike first." As the ambassador swept out of the chamber with his entourage, Porter received an encrypted message from General Hayes. Operation Trojan Horse is go. All ships report ready. Maintain deception for 5 more hours. Porter looked around the room at the worried faces of Earth's leaders. Only a handful knew the truth. The rest believed humanity was truly helpless against the alien threat. Their fear had to look real to fool the Crest's observers. Admiral, the Secretary General called him over. She was one of the few who knew the plan. Are we ready? Porter nodded slightly. Everything is in position. The Crests think they have us cornered. Their entire battle fleet is committed to this attack. They've given us exactly what we wanted. A chance to take them all out at once. And our hidden fleet. Captain Wells reports all ships at full combat readiness. The Crests won't know what hit them. The Secretary General smiled grimly. Then let's give them their answer right at the deadline. Let them think we're using every last second to accept defeat. Above them, the Crest ships continued to gather, their crews confident in their absolute superiority over the primitive humans. They had no idea they were the ones being hunted. The first Crest attack came exactly at the deadline. Their ships opened fire on the Mars colony's main dome, shattering the outdated defensive shields like glass. Emergency sirens wailed as colonists ran for the underground bunkers. Direct hit on sectors 3 through 7, reported the Mars colony commander through a static-filled transmission. Our weapons can't even dent their shields. Admiral Porter stood in Earth's command center, watching the destruction unfold. The performance had to be perfect. Every defeated defense, every failed counterattack was carefully planned to feed the Crest's arrogance. Launch our defensive satellites, Porter ordered, knowing they would be destroyed instantly. Show them we're at least trying to fight back. Earth's best weapons rose from hidden silos. Old-style nuclear missiles and laser platforms moved into position. The Crest swatted them aside with casual ease. Pathetic, the Crest ambassador's voice boomed through the emergency channel. Is this really the best Earth can offer? We expected at least some challenge. In the asteroid belt, Captain Wells and his crew watched the attack through secure feeds. The Thunderchild's engines hummed silently, ready to reveal their true power. The Crests have committed 90% of their fleet to the attack. First Officer Bradley reported. They've left their rear completely exposed. Wells nodded grimly. They think they're hunting defenseless prey. Keep monitoring. Wait for the signal. Back on Earth, Porter received damage reports from around Mars colony. The Crests were being careful not to cause any deaths. Yet, they were playing with their food, demonstrating their power before moving on to Earth itself. Admiral, a young officer called out, they're deploying landing ships. They're going to invade Mars colony. Porter pretended to panic. Get me the Secretary General. We need to discuss surrender terms before. The main screen crackled as the Crest ambassador interrupted the transmission. Too late, humans. Your time for surrender is over. Now we take what we want. The massive Crest fleet began moving into attack positions around Earth. Their ships formed an elaborate pattern, ready to strike every major city simultaneously. They wanted to give Earth's population a good view of their incoming destruction. In the asteroid belt, Wells received the coded signal he'd been waiting for. Just 3 words. Release the thunder. All ships, power up quantum drives. Wells commanded. Disable cloaking fields on my mark. Weapon systems to full power. The Crests want to teach humanity a lesson. Let's show them who the real teachers are. The 50 hidden warships hummed to life, their disguises melting away to reveal sleek, deadly vessels bristling with advanced weapons. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Signal from Earth Command, announced Officer Wood. The Crests have taken the bait. Operation Trojan Horse is now in final phase. Wells looked at his crew, seeing the same controlled anger in their eyes. They had watched their comrades on Mars suffer, had endured the Crest's mockery, all while waiting for this moment. All ships, prepare for quantum jump, Wells ordered. Target coordinates locked on Crest Fleet's rear positions. Let's show these aliens what a primitive species can do. The trap was about to snap shut. The Crest Admiral stood triumphant on his flagship's bridge, watching Earth grow larger on the main display. His victory was moments away. Then his sensor officer let out a startled cry. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Massive energy spikes from the asteroid belt. Impossible, the Admiral snapped. The humans don't have quantum technology. Their ship's air. The space behind his fleet erupted with light. 50 warships materialized, their hulls gleaming with advanced weaponry. The primitive cargo ship disguises were gone, revealing vessels that made the Crest ships look antiquated. On the Thunderchild's bridge, Captain Wells gave the order they'd all been waiting for. All ships, open fire. Show them what humanity can really do. The Hidden Fleet's first volley caught the Crests completely off guard. Antimatter torpedoes phased through their superior shields like they didn't exist. Gravity pulse cannons crushed entire sections of their ships into twisted metal. By the stars, the Crest ambassador gasped, watching from his ship as Earth's real fleet revealed itself. This isn't possible. We scanned their whole system. Admiral Porter's voice came through all channels, calm and clear. You scanned what we wanted you to scan, Ambassador. Humanity learned long ago to hide its strengths from potential threats. The Thunderchild led the attack, its quantum drives letting it dance between Crest ships like a predator among prey. Each shot from its main guns pierced multiple enemy vessels. Their shields are useless against our phase weapons, Bradley reported with satisfaction. They never considered we might have technology they couldn't detect. The Crest fleet tried to regroup, but they were caught in a perfect crossfire. The ships they'd mocked as primitive suddenly transformed before their eyes. Hidden weapon ports opened on Earth's orbital platforms. Defense satellites shed their weak outer shells to reveal powerful battle stations. Status report, the Crest Admiral demanded. We've lost 30 ships already. Their weapons, they're passing right through our best defenses. This technology shouldn't exist. In Earth's command center, Porter watched the Crest's perfect formation crumble into chaos. Send word to all human ships. Execute attack pattern Delta. Let's show them what else we've been hiding. The Thunderchild and its sister ships moved in perfect coordination, their quantum drives letting them appear and disappear at will. Each time the Crests thought they had a target locked, it would vanish and reappear somewhere else, firing from impossible angles. How? The Crest ambassador's voice shook with fear. Your species was supposed to be centuries behind us. A simple lesson, Ambassador, Porter replied. Never judge a species by what they choose to show you. While you were laughing at our primitive ships, we were studying your every weakness. Another wave of Crest ships erupted in flames as humanity's real weapons found their marks. The mighty alien fleet that had arrived to bully Earth was being systematically torn apart by the very primitives they'd mocked. The age of hiding was over. Humanity had revealed its true face, and the galaxy would never be the same. In the heat of battle, Captain Wells allowed himself a small smile. Send word to all ships. The hunt is on. The space around Jupiter became a graveyard of Crest warships. What had started as a crushing defeat near Earth had turned into a desperate retreat for the alien fleet. But humanity wasn't letting them escape. They're trying to reach their quantum jump point behind Jupiter's largest moon. Wells announced on the Thunderchild's bridge. All ships, form up. Don't let them regroup. The human fleet moved with deadly precision. Ships that the Crests had dismissed as primitive now revealed weapon after weapon, each more devastating than the last. Enemy fleet attempting to establish defensive formation, Bradley reported. They're placing their damaged ships in the center. Wells studied the tactical display. The Crests were trying to protect their flagship, but their once perfect formation was now ragged and broken. Fear had replaced their arrogance. Target their engines, Wells commanded. Let's see how well they fight when they can't run. The Thunderchild's main gun spoke again. Beams of concentrated energy sliced through the Crest ship's engine sections, leaving them dead in space. Their supposedly superior shields might as well have been paper. Incoming transmission from the Crest flagship, Officer Wood announced. The Crest Admiral's face appeared on screen, his blue skin now pale with shock. How is this possible? Your weapons, they're like nothing we've ever seen. You should have done better research, Wells replied coldly. Humanity learned long ago not to show its full strength. Every primitive ship you mocked was a carefully crafted deception. More human ships quantum jumped into the battle, their weapons already firing. The Crest fleet's attempt to escape turned into a desperate last stand near Jupiter's swirling clouds. Enemy ships breaking formation, Bradley called out. They're scattering. But there was nowhere to run. Earth's fleet had positioned ships at every possible escape route. The Thunderchild led the final assault, its quantum drive letting it appear wherever the Crests were most vulnerable. Their flagship is making a break for it, Wood reported. They're charging their jump drive. Not today, Wells said quietly. All ships, execute Pattern Sierra. Show them our last surprise. The human fleet split into 3 groups, executing a maneuver that should have been impossible. Ships quantum jumped in microsecond bursts, creating a web of deadly fire that trapped the Crest flagship. By the ancient stars, the Crest Admiral whispered as his ship's systems failed one by one. Your ships move like they're alive. That's because we don't rely on computers alone, Wells explained. Our quantum drives are partially controlled by human minds, something your research said was impossible. The Battle of Jupiter, as it would later be known, ended not with a bang but with a series of surrenders. Crest ships, their mighty weapons useless, their superior shields broken, raised the white flag one by one. The Thunderchild approached the Crest flagship, its true form now fully visible. No longer disguised as a primitive vessel, it looked like an angel of death against Jupiter's stormy background. Send word to Earth, Wells ordered. Tell them the Jupiter sector is secured. And tell the Crests, this was just our first fleet. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just ready for the galaxy. They were ready to rule it. The remains of the Crest fleet scattered across the solar system, running from Earth's vengeful ships. What had started as an invasion of Earth had turned into a desperate fight for survival for the alien aggressors. Another group detected near Saturn's rings, Bradley reported on the Thunderchild's bridge. 3 ships, all heavily damaged. Captain Wells nodded, watching the tactical display. The Crests were trying to hide in the ice fragments, their once proud ships now running like frightened prey. Status of our fleet, he asked. All ships report minimal damage, Wood replied. Our phase shields held perfectly. The Crests never even scratched our real defenses. The Thunderchild led a group of 5 ships toward Saturn. Their quantum drives made the vast distance meaningless, covering it in seconds rather than hours. Enemy ships detected powering up weapons, Bradley warned. Wells almost pitied them. Almost. Show them why that's a bad idea. The Thunderchild's main guns fired once. Just once. The energy beams split into multiple streams, threading through Saturn's rings to strike all 3 Crest ships simultaneously. Their shields collapsed instantly. Enemy ships are surrendering, Wood announced. They're begging for mercy. Grant it, Wells ordered, but disable their engines first. No more running. Back near Mars, Admiral Porter coordinated the cleanup operation. The Crest ships that had bombarded the colony now floated helplessly, their crews being taken into custody. Final count from Jupiter sector, his aide reported. 47 Crest ships destroyed, 32 captured. Their flagship is secure. Porter allowed himself a grim smile. And their admiral? Still in shock, sir. He keeps asking how we hid so much advanced technology. The answer was simple but brilliant. While openly developing primitive technology, Earth had poured its real resources into quantum research, phase weapons, and mental interface systems. Every failed test, every primitive rocket launch had been carefully staged to fool watching aliens. Near Venus, another group of human ships cornered the last major Crest battle group. The aliens had nowhere left to run. "This is Captain Wells to all remaining Crest vessels." Wells broadcast on all frequencies. "Your fleet is destroyed. Your invasion has failed. Surrender now." The response came quickly. The Crest ships powered down their weapons, finally accepting defeat. "Send word to Earth," Wells ordered. "The solar system is secure. All Crest forces have been captured or destroyed." The crew of the Thunderchild cheered. After years of hiding their true strength, after enduring mockery and threats, humanity had proven itself the superior force. Message from Admiral Porter. Wood announced. "New orders. Begin Phase 2. Wells nodded. Phase 2 would take human ships beyond the solar system, to show other alien races that Earth was no longer pretending to be primitive. "Plot a course to the Crest home system," he commanded. "It's time to negotiate peace terms, on our conditions." The Thunderchild's quantum drive hummed to life, its power no longer hidden behind false readings and weak signatures. Around it, Earth's fleet regrouped, ready to show the galaxy that humanity had been playing a very long game. And they had just won the first round. The Crest homeworld loomed large on the Thunderchild's main screen. Its purple oceans and green continents might have been beautiful if not for the massive fleet gathering in its orbit. "They've called in their reserve forces," Bradley reported. "Over 500 ships. This is everything they have left." Captain Wells stood calmly on his bridge, watching the desperate show of force. The Crests had gathered every ship from every colony and outpost, creating one massive last stand. "Message from their high command," Wood announced. "They say they'll destroy their own planet before surrendering to primitives." Wells shook his head. Even now, facing total defeat, their pride wouldn't let them accept reality. "Show them the feed from Earth," he ordered. The transmission went out to every Crest ship. It showed Earth's orbital defense grid powering up, revealing its true form. Thousands of satellites transformed, their primitive disguises falling away to reveal planet-killer weapons. By the void, the Crest High Commander gasped. "Your whole planet is armed." "Every satellite," Wells confirmed. "Every space station. Even the debris we left in orbit. All weapons, all pointing at your homeworld right now." The human fleet spread out in attack formation. The Thunderchild led the center group, its weapons charged and ready. They had let one Crest ship escape from Earth, specifically to report what humanity's weapons could do. "Last chance," Wells broadcast. "Surrender, or we'll be forced to demonstrate our full capabilities." The response came in the form of plasma fire. The Crest fleet, choosing pride over survival, launched everything they had. "They never learn," Wells sighed. "All ships, execute final protocol." Earth's fleet disappeared, using their quantum drives in ways the Crests still couldn't understand. They reappeared inside the alien formation, their weapons already firing. The battle was brutal but brief. Human ships phased through Crest weapons fire like it was harmless light. Each shot from Earth's fleet struck with surgical precision, disabling rather than destroying when possible. "Their flagship is making a run for the surface," Bradley reported. "They're going to try to trigger their doomsday weapon." "Not today," Wells said firmly. "Thunderchild, show them our full power." The ship's quantum core pulsed once. In an instant, the Thunderchild appeared inside the Crest flagship's bridge. Its phase field prevented any damage from the sudden materialization. The Crest commanders found themselves staring directly at a human warship hovering in their command center. Their weapons were useless against its phase shields. "Impossible," the High Commander whispered. "Surrender," Wells broadcast one final time. "Don't make us destroy everything you've built." Around the planet, the rest of the Crest fleet watched in stunned silence as their flagship powered down its weapons. One by one, the remaining ships followed suit. The last battle had ended not with the destruction of a civilization, but with the complete dismantling of its pride. "Send word to Earth," Wells ordered. The Crest Empire has surrendered. The war is over. The Thunder Child's crew cheered, but Wells remained serious. This victory would send a message to every alien race that had ever doubted humanity. The age of hiding was truly over. 6 months after the Crest's surrender, Earth's diplomatic center hosted the largest gathering of alien species ever seen. Representatives from 30 different civilizations came to meet the humans who had hidden their true power for so long. Admiral Porter stood at the main podium, looking out at the diverse crowd. Some had ridiculed humanity in the past. Others had simply ignored Earth as unimportant. None of them were laughing now. The age of deception is over, Porter announced. Humanity chose to hide its achievements not out of fear, but out of wisdom. We watched, we learned, and we prepared. In orbit, the Thunder Child patrolled with its sister ships, their true forms now visible to all. Captain Wells watched the proceedings through the ship's feeds, remembering how far they'd come. Another delegation arriving, Bradley reported. This one's from the Nexus Alliance. They're requesting permission to study our quantum drive technology. Wells smiled. Just months ago, the Nexus Alliance had called humans barely evolved primates. Now they came as humble students. On the Crest homeworld, the changes were even more dramatic. Their society, built on the idea of technological superiority, had to rebuild itself from scratch. Human teachers now helped them understand the technologies they'd once mocked. The galaxy is changing, Porter continued his speech. Earth extends its hand in friendship to all peaceful species. But let the Crest War be a lesson. We will no longer tolerate bullies among the stars. The alien delegates shifted uncomfortably. Many of their civilizations had dismissed humanity as primitive. Some had even planned their own invasions. Now they watched Earth's fleet patrol the solar system, displaying technology that shouldn't have been possible. Show them the new defense grid, Porter ordered. The main screen lit up with images of Earth's latest achievement, a network of quantum-linked satellites that could protect not just Earth, but any allied world from attack. It was humanity's gift to peaceful civilizations, and a warning to aggressive ones. In the audience, the Crest ambassador, now a peace envoy, watched with new respect. His people had learned the hard way that appearances could be deceiving. Earth is establishing a new Galactic Defense Council, Porter announced. All peaceful species are welcome to join. Together, we can ensure that no civilization faces the threat of extinction from more powerful neighbors. The Thunder Child received new orders. Lead the first joint patrol with ships from former enemy species. Captain Wells looked at his crew with pride. They had fought to prove humanity's worth, and now they would fight to maintain peace. Policy update from Earth Command, Wood reported. All human technology is now visible. No more hidden weapons or disguised ships. Good, Wells replied. We don't need to hide anymore. As the diplomatic meeting ended, ships from dozens of alien species departed Earth's orbit. They carried with them stories of the humans who had fooled the galaxy, who had hidden world-changing technology behind primitive disguises. But more importantly, they carried a message. Earth was ready to lead, not through fear or superiority, but through wisdom and strength. The age of human deception was over. The age of human leadership had begun. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter on humanity's triumph.